Welcome back to Gaijin Hideout. I'm Jeff. With me is Jesse, and this is more Dragon's Dogma 2 reaction videos. So Jesse, today we're going to go back and we're going to check out another developer interview. We're looking at how Dragon's Dogma 2 realizes the vision of the original game. Hideaki Itsuno interview, courtesy of IGN.
That's great. I mean, we're almost through the whole. We're almost through the first one at this point, so we can finally reflect on all this.
Yeah, so I figured this would be a good opportunity to kind of see, we're playing the game. We're actually playing the game every Saturday, 3 p.m. EST time on our live streams. But we're doing it in 2024. This game came out however many years ago, over 10 years ago.
Over a decade, yeah.
So we see the game as it is now, and we see everything that's accomplished, and then we're catching all these previews for the sequel. So I'm curious to see what he thinks was left out, what he wanted to achieve, or anything like that.
I keep hearing in chat something about 40%, 20%. People are always talking about some kind of magical number of some magical percentage of content that didn't make it into the first game.
Yeah, so if you guys can comment and give us some if you're a hardcore fan of Dragon's Dogma, if you can give us any kind of backstory on what was lost or what could have been that wasn't put in or whatever.
I actually don't even know why that didn't happen. Why this kind? I assume just time crunch reasons, but yeah. Yeah.
So so we're just going to get into it. I just kind of want to, I'm fascinated by his philosophy as a developer too, because he seems very, they all seem very interested in making a fun game they're very creative and playful with the way that they go about it.
Oh my God, are they? Jesus, I wish more games were this fucking creative.
Yeah, so I just really, really, really wanted to know what's the vision that we're getting fully realized here.
I love the crooked poster in the corner there, by the way.
Yeah, well, listen, you can't do it straight on. That's never interesting.
Wear your jeans to work day. No, it's fine.
Yeah. All right, let's check this out.
カプコンドラゴンズドグマ2ディレクターの市野秀明です。今日はよろしくお願いします。
お願いします。
That was so bad. That was so bad, Tom.
I'm sorry.
I'm offended for that.
You can cancel me. Cancel me now. Get it over with.
ドラゴンズドグマ2はですね、11年前に出た
11 years. Okay.
11 years, dude.
That's when the first one came
These
out.
poor guys. I feel bad for these people that have been fans since the beginning. I just want to say.
You've had it.
I went through it with a game of my own that I waited 10 years for, but
oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Final Fantasy 15, none other, but I empathize. I at least definitely empathize, but I think you guys are getting more of a payoff. I will say you guys are getting a much bigger payoff.
Jeff, in a way, you're getting a payoff with that Mystic Spear Handle.
That's true. I am kind of getting my own payoff, so I'm here in spirit with you.
ナンバリングで言うと2作目
I love that. I love that zoom out.
いくつかゲーム挟まってるんですが、ナンバリングとしては2作目のゲームとなります。
Oh yeah, they did an online game. They did an online game and they closed the servers in 2019.
Now, is that where the Sphinx came from? Or
yeah, that was I looked it up. That was where the Sphinx
okay.
Came from originally. Yeah.
All right.
オープンワールドの中でアクションをめちゃくちゃやるぜっていうつもりで、オープンワールドアクションというふうにジャンル名を銘打って出したゲームになります。
Open world action game.
アクションロールプレイングであり、
Okay, they still use RPG.
で、カプコンだからっていうのもありますし、我々の
And primarily the Devil May Cry team.
Oh, that's so interesting. I
so
didn't know
a lot
that.
of work has been put into the action mechanics. That's really interesting
fantastic.
That they're still, they're still interested in making it an action RPG game, but they're bringing on the action game, devs and stuff like that.
Action back in action RPG.
Yeah.
このデビルメイクライチーム中心で作られた、アクション部分っていうのもすごく力を入れて作っています。何より
Looks so good.
特徴的なのは一人用のオンラインパーティーアクションゲームだというところでですね。
It's nice to just see him gushing about his fucking game. You can really just my Japanese is shit, but even limited and rusty, I can tell that he cares a lot about what he's doing.
This is nice. Even though you play it on your own, you feel the enjoyment of playing as a group. That's so that's so
like
neat
that.
coded. That's so like hikikomori coded, you know, that's so incel coded. That's so based is basically what I'm saying is like, you know, you don't need to have friends. We've made friends for you.
In fact, we discourage you from having friends. You're not allowed to play with other people in this game, dirtbag.
Thank you. I needed some me time. I needed me and my 3 other me's that you made for me. You know?
My 3 other
多人
me's.
数でプレイしているような楽しさが味わえる。まあ具体的には自分の、自分の主人公のプレイヤーと、ポーンって言われる。
Okay, so it's all the same. You borrow the 2 other pawns from other people. You have your own primary pawn.
Yeah, because people were wondering in chat today for our live stream. So yeah, so in case you were wondering, the protagonist and your pawn. Okay, so it's you, your pawn, and then 2 more that you borrow. So it's the same as last time, in case you were wondering.
まあ従者、お供に来るような、キャラクターですね。これを、自分でクリエイトしまして、そのキャラクターとあとネットワーク上の、誰かが作ったそのポーンですね。そのポーンを2体借りてきて4人パーティーでですね、AI の
Oh, and that AI.
でパーティーする。
Love it.
Jesse loves to point out how Dark Souls the menus have become. By the way,
yeah, I mean, look
this.
at that. I mean, that just screams Dark Souls. In a good way.
It's kind of cozy though, because Dark Souls has moved. You know,
I love it.
From Software is not going back to. From what I understand, From Software does not go back to old series. Like they've moved on. So this menu system, you may not see that again. You know, you see Elden Ring.
Oh, really?
But Elden Ring looks different. You know, this is like Dark Souls.
Oh, okay.
Looking. So, yeah.
Well, just the whole like Souls aesthetic is kind of what I get looking at this.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is it's like it's not in use right now. You know,
RPG
it's up for grabs.
もともとロールプレイングゲーム大好きです。
Me too, man.
大好きなんだけど、コマンド式の戦闘がめんどくさいなとか。
Okay.
What I would prefer is for my pawns to just jump to their deaths
Look at
randomly.
this! Look at this king grinding for experience. Used to annoy me too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he hated command-based combat so much. He was like, "Let's leave it up to fate. Maybe they'll fall in the river.
Let's
maybe
leave it
they'll
up to a die roll. Jump and just like any old random shit could happen." No, I mean, I do love how they kind of like learn from your actions. So if you're a goofy bastard who's always destroying boxes and taking random shit from people's houses, hey, guess what? Your pawns will be too.
You just roll into a room and all the boxes blow up. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
It's
lovely.
funny.
その時にストリートファイター2がめちゃくちゃブームでしてね、これアクション部分だけストリートファイター2ならへんかなって。
If just the action portions of these games could be like Street Fighter 2.
学生時代にあって、
Okay.
まあ自
That's
分
based.
でゲーム作っていいよっていうタイミングが来たので、その2つ実現したいなというところがまあ一つと。
Oh, he's just like
well,
me. What if
that's
RPGs
interesting
were
to
as
hear.
badass as like the other cool games? That's so.
It makes sense, you know, having played the first game and seen a lot of the second at this point. These inspirations, because you can kind of tell, you know, now that he's talking about it.
Well, because that was always like that's like the dream, right? Is for you to have these like role playing games where you're like cerebrally in the head of whatever character you're role playing as in the game, but like how do we get it in such a way where we can get the actual gameplay to be as like to mirror that experience that you're having in your head, but like externally, you know what I mean? Like how do we?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
How do we make it as awesome and action packed as possible while you're still in that guy's head? You know, like that's
please get me as far away as possible from the bubble wrap fantasy that is Skyrim, where everyone like lunges around like they're swimming through fucking molasses.
Yeah, like that that wasn't it. But then, you know, on the flip side, you have other games. There's been tons of games where like RPGs where investment has been done into, okay, everybody knows how to make the game where you get inside the guy's head, but then it's like, how do you make it feel real beyond that? You know, like how can I be in this like Mystic Spearhand's head and it look like I'm a Jedi from the Middle Ages as well, you know, like how can I make that the same? You know, I don't want it to turn into like Devil May Cry, but I also wanted to be awesome, you know. I wanted to be as awesome as I'm feeling in my head. I wanted to look like that. So that's really cool that he thinks like that, because it's kind of I'm with him on that.
で、このゲームを、 考え始めた頃っていうのがちょっと2001年とか2年とかでして、オンラインの、ゲームが出始めた頃で、オンラインのゲームに対する憧れがめちゃくちゃあって、で自分も触れる機会があって、夢の世界やと思ってたんですけど、意外と面倒くせえなっていう。
Surprisingly frustrating, yeah. Well, I feel that.
I only hear like MMO people. Well, I guess like WoW players. Like WoW players, I hear them like always complaining about their game. Them and League players.
It's not easy to be a WoW player, Jeff.
WoW players, League players, Overwatch players. Aren't they all like put out by the same company, like Blizzard or something?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just like being in any abusive relationship. You know, you can't escape. You keep coming back and getting your ass kicked.
Yeah.
My first MMO was Star Wars Galaxies, if anybody has a fucking clue what that was. And it's a similar experience to what he's describing. Very, enchanting, fascinating, but at the same time, like really frustrating. So I get what he's talking about.
I'm an MMO virgin, so maybe that's the final destination of Dragon's Dogma one day, because he wanted to do he did an online game, is to take this online.
That would be pretty cool. If you could fully realize this online, that would be fascinating.
Because I watched Asmongold's reaction to like the gameplay for this game, and he's the WoW head that I watch. So like he paused at one point and he was like, one day you will be able to play this in an MMO. One day it will be like this. One day.
Yeah, well, I think they want that,
I think they want that,
Yeah, well, I mean, like I've had that fantasy too for a long time, and as I've kind of grown up, I've started to be like, does this need to be an MMO? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
Does everything need to be a fucking MMO?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that would be cool, but
it's gonna take someone like this guy to like figure out how to make it not a mess.
Yeah, we're just not there yet. We're not there yet. Maybe one day it'll all be amazing and I'll be online with every player on Earth. But
one day.
For now, I'm okay with like a really, really sculpted, just kick-ass experience.
Yeah.
選ばないはずなのに、結局友達同士で何時スタートって集まんなきゃダメだとか、トイレ行くのもはばかられたり。
I might feel bad about leaving to use the bathroom for a second.
オンラインゲームで遊びたいんだけども、そういう面倒くさい思いとか気を使ったりとかしたくないな。それをなんとかうまくする方ないかなっていうアイデアを出してる時期。
That's what I was gonna say. Is like this game seems like it walks right up to the line of like being that online game. Like it's an online game but offline.
Yeah. Again, it kind of has that like. Fuck me for saying this, but it kind of has that like Souls thing a little, where it has these online elements, but in a way they're very kind of detached, a lot less trolly than Souls, mind you, but
yeah, and even more so because of the party system. I always thought that was particularly peculiar. The pawns, like there was a lot of intentional effort put into that, whereas I'm used to playing games where it's like your AI party is like a stand-in for a real party, if you want to like have people join you, or they take a back seat, they're just there for aesthetic purposes or something, if it's like a single player game, so it's really interesting.
がありまして、その2つの友達と遊んでるような気分で遊べるという仕組みと RPG のアクション部分が
He's making this game feel so cozy,
It's very cozy, Jesse.
Oh, this is interesting. I don't think we've seen this footage. Look at this.
This town looks really good.
It
looks nice. Oh, the game looks cozy.
そうなんですけど、狭い範囲でもいいからちゃんと
Detailed NPCs.
Okay, yeah, I got to be careful not to stop paying attention to the fucking dialogue.
Is this Grand Soren, or is this like
I'm gonna assume it's Grand Soren. Yeah.
It's like I remember the stands, the market stands. Ended up with a ridiculous number of NPCs this time around. Okay.
とにかくその世界でこのキャラクターがちゃんと目的を
We wanted characters who live in the world and act according to their own goals.
Okay.
So you wanted detailed NPCs. They have a lot, but they wanted characters who live in the world and act according to their own goals.
判断基準があって
Make decisions for themselves.
その結果
So what does that
and the
mean
world
for the game
properly reacts to these reasoned NPC actions. I think it means they might have put a lot of time into developing how these NPCs interact with each other.
NPC がやった行動に対してちゃんとリアクションがある世界にしようという システム考えて作り込んで
Okay, they just said that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
原作では
What's that, Jeff?
Oh shit! Look at this. In the first
Player
game,
to
affinity existed only between the player and
Oh, so
NPCs.
the NPCs have affinity with each other.
What?
Yeah. Wow. Look at that. That's interesting. Well, again, I have to ask, like, how does that affect things?
I think like if you're like doing missions and side quests, like, but it almost seems like it could be timed, like NPCs interacting with each
yeah.
other and building and breaking relationships. Is that like what's going on?
I'm
and
not
then,
sure,
and then it's
because
it's also influenced in real time slightly by like your character doing side quests and things like that.
I don't know. I mean, coming from the first one, that feels like a very underdeveloped aspect. So going into this, I kind of had and have no expectations for any.
Yeah, I didn't have any
social-
expectations for the affinity system.
Yeah, I was just like, ooh, class looks cool. Can't wait to play. You know?
But that is like how a real set of interactions works. Is it's not like person A, person B, and there's like points assigned. It's like they exist in a system that is like they all impact each other. You know, and you would be participating in that system of interactions.
Okay. Well,
That's
I need more info
fascinating.
On this, Jeff. This
That's
is
big. Big if true. I'm going to file that under big if true. Big if true.
Okay,
because
all
that's
right.
very different and complex and impressive. If that's the case.
We'll see.
NPC
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like we need
関係性
more info on this.
Yeah, and PCs also have relationships with one another.
Yeah.
One
例え
another.
ばまあ NPC がプレイヤーに対してなんか行為が
Okay.
ある同じように行為がある NPC がいたら
Huh.
この2人って同じ人に行為があるから仲良くなる世界があんまないじゃないですか。仲良くなったキャラクターはまあうちに遊びに来たりするんですけども
Characters
Come to your
close.
house to play? What?
But if they meet another character there who's done the same thing, a fight might break out.
Oh my gosh.
Jesse,
what?
this is different. This is
I
very
did not
different.
expect any of this. What? This is like, okay. I'm fascinated, Jeff.
Wow.
うち
Okay.
に来た時に
Now, like, imagine how this works with like enemies, because those are NPCs, right? Bandits.
I guess that's true.
Do you think
yeah.
they applied this to bandits? Like a certain group of bandits, like you kick
I
their
just
ass
want-
and their friends have it out for you afterwards?
That's funny. Oh, I'll tell you what I want, Jeff. I just want Grigori to show up to my house to play. How about that?
Yeah, that's true. Well, he's playing. He's playing hide your heart.
Oh,
you
that's
know?
a good point. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
そのキャラクター同士が鉢合わせしたりすると喧嘩になるかもしれませんね。で僕らとしてはやめて僕のために喧嘩しないで
This guy's hilarious.
言いたいだけのために作ったシステムなんでまあ、そんな風にならないように皆さん気をつけてプレイしていただければいいのかなと。
All right, well, we're gonna fuck that up, Jeff. We're gonna fuck that up.
Oh,
Day
I want
one.
to see them fight. I want people to fight over me, of course. You know.
Oh, of course.
プレイヤーのね
I want to be
や
the
りたい
popular kid. I want to be the neat who has all the envy of all my NPC friends, and they're all
Even if
fighting
it-
over me. You know,
Even if it causes planetary destruction on
you don't
on a
need that. You
colossal
don't need
scale.
that. You don't need that drama IRL. I don't need to have real friends that are all obsessed with me and fighting over me, because then that's like my real life. Then I have to like deal with that, you know. But like if it's in the game, you know, you get the whole experience without having then you shut the game off, you know. All right. We worked hard to, what do you say? We worked hard to create a world that reacts in a believable way to whatever actions a player wants to take. That
やりた
sounds
い
so
ことやっ
good.
たことに対してちゃんと納
Yeah, I'm
得
just
の
really
いく
curious.
リアクション
Yeah,
が
that was the pawn high five.
Was that the
Oh,
pawn high
good.
five?
やったことに対して
Someone in chat told us about pawn high fives. That's amazing. Is that great? That's great.
It's one
Yeah,
thing.
man.
It's one thing to
Yeah.
like talk about this and say, "Oh, this thing affects this thing, and the world's a system, and blah blah blah." I just want to know like what actually fucking happens at the end of the day. Like, what are the things that happen in the game, despite all these words that get said? You know, like I'm very curious about how it actually fucking plays out. Because I have no expectations coming into this from the first game. I really don't know.
Yeah. Because I just, it is such a grand concept. I believe it could be
Yeah.
executed properly, but it's just, there's so many other things about this game, that people want to have executed properly.
It'll be a very nice bonus if this is in the game to any kind of like interesting or remarkable degree. But even if it's not, I'm still going to enjoy it. So
that's just so interesting. I wouldn't have expected it was the affinity system that was a big part of his vision. Like he wanted it to be like, yeah, your actions have real consequences and they influence people. I guess you can kind of see it. You can kind of see it with like the Fornival trial and how that's like permanent if you like
oh yeah, that's a good point, Jeff.
You know, like the outcome of that is permanent and permanently affects you. And it's very like out there. You know, it's not there's not a lot of things like that in the game.
Yeah, I'm so intrigued by this because there's like a lot of potential.
Yeah. So you can
I just don't know which way it's going to go.
You can see intent behind like, you know, the places in the game where it pops up, or like the affinity stuff. Like for example, like our affinity thing was with the Duke's wife, and that just like went from 0 to 100. You know, like they're very memorable. So you can tell someone like went in and was like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, and it's gonna mean you're gonna this is gonna happen.
So crazy.
Yeah, so you can tell there was like some real intent there. Yeah, if they did that for the whole game, that just blows my mind. Is that possible?
It's fascinating.
Is that possible?
I'm just curious. I have to know. I mean, we'll see.
All right.
やったことに対してちゃんと納得のいくリアクションが来るような世界を頑張って作りましたので、この世界で本気でごっこ遊びをしたい。
Want to seriously pretend to be a part of a world, or to experience a new life in a simulated fantasy world.
異世界転生シミュレーターやりたい人。あと。
It's so unabashedly antisocial. I respect it so hard. I respect the grind.
You don't need friends, Jeff. Put them away.
You don't. It's so Sigma. It's such a Sigma like worldview. I love it.
Dragon's Dogma.
Dragon Sigma.
当然アクションが得意な人苦手な人両方に生きる道があるような世界を作ったんですけども、もちろんアクションゲームを求めてる人に対しては奥深いアクションは用意していますので。
I'm seeking one. I'm seeking a deep action game.
Please, yes.
だけで勝負すんだぜっていう人ももちろんお待ちしております。で、あとよくわかんないけど面白そうって聞いたからやってみますっていう人。
This guy seems like he'd be so much fun.
多分ですけど、僕今回
seems like a nice friendly dude.
めちゃくちゃチーム全員そこにお金時間かけ。
Oh, this is the new pawn area where you're recruiting the pawns.
Oh, yeah, the Riftstone stuff. Okay.
Yeah, so he said
interface here.
He said also, if you don't know much about the game but want to try it because you heard it was fun, after all the time and effort the whole team put into creating the game's pawns, ... They should act like a friend. They should act like a friend who sits beside you to give advice after playing through the game themselves. That's pretty chill.
ゲームやったことある友達がいいアドバイス。
Oh, pause here, Jeff.
Okay.
So we got inclination, calm, specialization. Did pawns have specializations in the first game? I don't remember that.
I don't think so, no.
Okay. There's a bunch of other stuff here. You know, like a thumbs up thing, a heart.
Yeah. I don't know if it's that much more detailed. I feel like he's very much trying to like take care of a lot of this stuff under the hood. Like it's not stats, it's like AI.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay.
Like he doesn't want it to be like, oh, this NPC raised this NPC's like friendship meter, or they lowered this one, or you know, that's just the general impression I get from the pawn system is that it's supposed to take care of itself, even if it doesn't, or it's stupid, or you know, or it's not perfect or something. Like it seems like that's supposed to be the goal of like the vision he's kind of laying out.
Yeah.
But I did feel like the pawns in Dragon's Dogma 1, they did this pretty well. Like it did feel like a friend who was giving you advice as you were like going through.
Yeah, some of them especially kind of jump out to you after. Yeah. I mean, I imagine if you play the game enough, it all kinds of like you kind of figure out all the patterns and stuff. But Jeff playing it for the first time and me coming back to it after like forever, basically, some of them really kind of do just become characters, you know.
For sure. For sure. All right,
そうしてくれるようにポーンを作っています。友達の作ったポーンが
They look less ugly, by the way.
いろいろ教えてくれると思うんです。
Thank God.
そいつが先に攻略してる
They will teach you what they learned from your friends' playthroughs? Oh,
yeah,
like they've
it's
got
kind of the same in yeah.
You think so? Do you think like I guess I'm just bringing in random strangers pawns. Do you think they like in Dragon's Dogma 1?
Yeah.
Do you think they
Oh, dude, they've
stuff?
got knowledge. Yeah, from all the quests and stuff they go on. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they'll like point stuff out to you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, and then they do so like our pawn, like Jess Revius, he says on the fly, like he'll be like, "Oh, I learned something new about this area" or something.
Right. That's exactly what they're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
知識はポーンがちゃんと教えて
We should try and get viewers pawns. I just had that thought. We should.
Oh, that's a great idea.
We
Yeah,
should
could do
petition.
that.
We should have viewers like submit their pawns. And like anytime we need a
Well,
new pawn.
I think the thing is you kind of need to be around the same. Maybe I'm totally fucking off my rocker here, but I think you kind of need to be around the same level.
Oh, that's true.
You know, and a lot of people watching are
They're gonna be so far ahead.
Are
They're gonna be so
pros,
far ahead. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. I want to get like pawns from people I know. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
if you want to pledge to stay at the same level as us or out a little ahead, I don't know what you would call that. Like a Gaijin, Gaijin wingman for Dragon's Dogma. Let us know in the comments, because that would be fun to like use pawns that like you know where they're from.
Mm-hmm.
てくれるので、
Maybe I just need to get more friends that play Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, it's that one, Jeff.
なんか当てにしてもらえれば、実はそんなに覚悟なくても遊べるかも。
Lean on them, and you should be able to play through the game even if you're not super committed. Yeah, because he was saying this for like people that just casually found the game.
と思っています。
Okay.
よろしくお願いします。
Oh, he's hoping.
He just seems like such a chill dude.
He's hoping he kept the casual people in mind for his hardcore game. That's wholesome.
It's very cozy.
It is.
Well, I have to say probably the most interesting thing I learned watching this was that affinity stuff he was talking about. I'm very curious about that and whether or not that's going to be any sort of meaningful in the actual game or not.
Yeah, I think I'm so generally impressed by the action aspects of this action RPG that I'm always surprised that like he takes it for granted. Like these guys are like, oh yeah, that's easy for us. We did Dragon's Dogma, we did Devil May Cry. That's like not what's interesting to them. It's like they have that down so much that they're like more interested in, like they care about the pawn system, they care about the affinity system and the prop and actualizing all that stuff. I'm just not used to I'm not used to the gameplay. I'm not used to the gameplay being because we always used to say like for Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, it's like it's so much more of a game in the game, like the gameplay, the focus is on the gameplay, the gameplay's solid.
Well, I mean, there's no reason you can't have it all, Jeff. There's no reason they can't develop out all those other aspects in addition to just having a fucking badass game.
Right, especially when the first one, that's what they nailed was the core part of the game.
It's easy for them at this point. Assume.
Yeah, it's so interesting because like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So then we can invest in all of the other stuff we wanted to do.
Okay, yeah, I'm curiously optimistic about all this. I guess we'll see. I don't really want to pass judgment on it yet, but I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I'm not like skeptical of them because they've nailed so much of everything else that I've seen from like this game or from these games. But like, I don't know if I've ever seen that fully realized in a game.
And I don't even think it has to be like great. It could just be a system that affects the game and the decisions you make when you're playing it. And I would be satisfied with something just kind of small, but as long as it's there and it's having an impact on how you play the game, forcing you to make choices and stuff like that, I'm all for it.
Yeah, because when you think about it, even like the best like open world action adventure games or action RPG games, I'm even the very best even like Tears of the Kingdom, even like Elden Ring, like all of the NPC interactions, they are locked into quest lines. Like you can't really, it's not super dynamic. It's only branching quest paths, like it's like this, you did this thing. And so then this thing happened. So that is kind of like, I guess, just thinking about what he said, that is kind of one of the last elements of like the action RPG or the open world RPG that could use like some innovation. It could use something more dynamic, something more modern that modern technology supports. It could use like, different situational, I don't know what you would call it, like a situational events happening based on like the internal stats of any given NPC in relation to your character. I could see that. I could see us being at a point in terms of technology and in terms of like game development where it's time for that and just nobody's done it yet. So I can see it's definitely possible. So I'm very curious to see how it shakes out.
We'll find out. I mean, the game's right around the corner at this point. So
right around the corner. Can't wait for it. Let us know what you thought about this video. Were you surprised by what he was like very interested in talking about in terms of the affinity systems and the bonds, or were you kind of more like, yeah, that's exactly what I was hoping they would flesh out, that kind of thing? Let us know down in the comments. Would love to have you like and subscribe and share this video with a friend. We love action RPGs, Japanese games, and especially Dragon's Dogma. Like I said earlier, we live stream Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, my first playthrough of it, every Saturday, 3 p.m. EST time. And EST, I'm going to say time. I keep doing this. And
somebody stop this man.
And of course, when Dragon's Dogma 2 comes out, you can bet your sweet ass we will be streaming that as well. So yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out.
See ya.